If you never address your comfort level and all of these things that's making you slack off, how exactly do you expect to get the things you want? Do you expect it to fall out of the sky? Help me understand. How do you expect to get the things that you want when every time you're supposed to be doing something to work on that, suddenly you need a nap? Really? That's not going to work. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the show. I'm your host Sensi, and on this podcast we talk about taking accountability of your life to become the best version of yourself. Now, I don't believe in coincidences. I think you are here for a specific reason, here as in listening to this episode. And I believe you need to hear this today. I needed to hear it when I heard it last week and it humbled me. So I'm sharing the love over here because you have been too comfortable. You have been too comfortable. I have been too comfortable. I have been too comfortable. And the crazy thing is, actually, first, let me just say this. I know what I said in those last couple of episodes, but it's time to get up now. It is time to get up now. You had your break, okay? You've had your time off. You've had your fun. You've relaxed. It's time to get up now. And when I say get up, I don't just mean it's time to work. I mean, it's time to leave your comfort zone. You have been way too comfortable. And I'm not allowing you to be comfortable anymore because what you are working towards, what I am working towards, it's going to require me to not even step outside of my comfort zone in a sense, but like stop defaulting to being comfortable when I know I should be doing something. When we talk about your comfort zone, there's leaving your comfort zone in a sense of, for example, I was too afraid to put myself on social media and now I have a podcast. Okay, cool. I left my comfort zone. But the comfort I'm talking about now that I am still working through and you are probably struggling with right now is the comfort of you like being not being lazy in a sense. Like let's say you being comfortable is sleeping in, but you know you have stuff to do in the morning. You know you should wake up, but you just feel so good when you sleep in, you know? You just feel so good when you snooze the alarm and you get to sleep an extra 5 minutes that turns into an extra hour. I know what it's like. We all have that little voice that's like, just get the gas later, right? Just, you deserve to rest. When was the last time you watched a movie on Netflix? Are you caught up with Bridgerton? Are you caught up with your favorite TV show? What about the top 10 on Netflix? You said you wanted to watch that movie. Why not watch it now? That is what I'm talking about. And here's the problem with that little devil on your shoulder that keeps causing you to like compromise and relax and be comfortable. Here's the thing about that. There is nothing wrong with doing these things on a regular day or like as they stand on their own. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I feel like having a day and binging on Netflix, or you know, like watching your favorite TV show or relaxing, just taking a day, just staying in bed, sleeping in because you're tired. There's nothing wrong with these things as they are on their own. The issue with you and with me is these things, we tend to default to these things when we know we should be doing something else, when we know we should be working on what we are trying to accomplish, what we are pursuing. The issue is when we do these things, when we binge watch Netflix, when you're supposed to be working on your goals. You said you would set some time aside and do this, but all of a sudden you're on Netflix. You see what I'm saying? You said you would read the book, but all of a sudden, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with doing these things on their own, but when you do it when you know you should be doing something else, that is what I'm addressing today. That is the comfort I am talking about, because these things are preventing you from being disciplined. And I mentioned in one of my previous episodes that a lot of us tend to rely on motivation. And we watch all of these motivational videos and we think, like it touches us. They speak to our spirit, they speak to our soul, they speak to our exact situation. And we feel like a fire rising inside of us. Like, you know what? Absolutely, I'm going to do this thing. I just feel so motivated. And then you do absolutely nothing. You do absolutely nothing. You know why? Because when it's time to act, you are looking for motivation, when in reality, you need discipline. I already touched on that in a prior episode on like motivation versus discipline, so I won't go into it too much here. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like, these things are preventing you or hindering you from creating the discipline that you need to get to that next level that you're working towards. Like, it requires discipline. There's nothing wrong with binge watching your favorite show on Netflix, but when you're doing it when you said you would be working on your business, or when you're doing it when you said you would be creating content, or when you said you would be planning your budget, or when you said you would be working out, that is when the issue comes in. When you are doing these things, when you said you would be doing something that would get you towards what you're working toward, that is the issue. That is the comfort that I am addressing today. Because I was reading a book that it was about entrepreneurship, but the guy mentioned a very good point in the book, and that was when humans are under stress, we resort to our habits because it takes the pressure off things. You just naturally default to what you've always done. I get it. Like, it's very easy. It's like, you wake up, you're tired, just snooze the alarm. Okay, but you've been sleeping in too much. I've been sleeping in too much. How many episodes on Netflix are you going to watch before you do your first workout? How many episodes on Netflix are you going to watch before you create the content that you said you were going to create? Or whatever it is that you said you were going to do. Stop putting these things off because you want to be comfortable so desperately. I get it. Like I said, I watched a video that dragged me through the mud on my poor habits when it comes to slacking off and procrastinating. So I know it hurts because some of these things apply to me too. They apply to me too. Like, today I'm recording. You know how many times I told myself, just watch a movie. Just watch a movie on Netflix. You can record later. And I know later always turns into the next day or next week or something. Like, it never works out how I try to tell myself it will work out when I'm convincing myself to slack off. And I'm sure the same is true for you. So I'm guilty of these things too. And it's very triggering because we have to develop the discipline necessary to do the things, to be the type of person that we need to be at that next level. Everything on this podcast is pretty much about elevation, right? That best version of yourself that you're working towards, they have different habits. They have different habits. They have different patterns. You have to start embodying these habits and these patterns in order for you to get there. It's not just going to come with some skill you can learn about business or education, like whatever it is you are trying to do, you have to become the person. Before we continue, I have some good news. So I just realized that I always talk about becoming the best version of yourself, but I don't know if you actually know what that looks like for you. And I want to make sure that I give you all of the resources you need to actually achieve your goals. So I have created a vault of resources to help you do just that, starting with the free Best Self Planner. If you don't know what the best version of yourself looks like, this is your starting point. It's a free planner that will help you map out what the best version of yourself looks like in every area of your life. And if you have problems filling it out, then the Best Self Journals are your best companion. These are journal prompts that are catered towards helping you become the best version of yourself in terms of self-reflection, understanding where you are, how you got there, and what you need to do moving forward. Relationships, auditing your relationships, your family, your friends, and your significant other, figuring out who gets to stay, who gets to go, and how you can improve those relationships. The faith journal is for strengthening your relationship with God and making sure that He's at the center of your life. And the healing journal is to allow you to vent and release all of the things that weigh you down and hold you back and prevent you from going to that next level. You can also get this if you just like journaling, if you want to journal 5 minutes a day, or if you want some reminders or some prompts to help you keep the things that are important to you at the top of your mind. And then last but not least, I also have a free masterclass. This is where we get into implementation. When you have your plan ready, when you know what that next level looks like that you want to go to, whether it's in all areas of your life or in just one specific area, if you have a move the needle goal that you need help accomplishing, then this free masterclass is going to teach you my simple 3-step system that will actually help you get results. It's called How to Become the Best Version of Yourself in the Next 90 Days. All of these resources will be available to you at secludedthoughts.com/resources. Just go to the website and pick and choose one or all of them, depending on what you need to become the best version of yourself. Now back to the episode. And your habits determine your personality. So that's why I'm coming for you today, because me and you, we need to stop being so comfortable. We need to stop being so comfortable. The procrastination, not even just the I feel like almost everybody, at least everybody that I know of per se, struggles with procrastination. But it's not even about procrastination. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing anything. You just don't feel like doing anything. And I get like, I wake up and I'm like, it would be nice to stay in bed all day. It would be nice to stay in bed all day, but I can't do that. I mean, I do it on Sundays. I have my days set aside to do absolutely nothing. And that's the thing. I set time aside to do absolutely nothing. So when I know I'm supposed to be doing something and then I feel like doing nothing, I'm like, all right, you know what you have to do. And honestly, this couch right here that you see, if you're watching the video, this couch that you see is my crutch. This couch is my weakness, because when I say I'm going to work and I lay on this couch, that's it. That's it. I have started like leaving my entire apartment to go work, because I've realized it's not the only way I can get work done, but I get more work done and I'm more productive when I don't work on my couch or when I'm not close to my couch. I have to leave my apartment entirely. So my question to you is, what do you have to do to start disrupting these patterns? Because you have been too comfortable. And you know what, I know when I'm saying this, something is coming to your mind right now, because you know you have been too comfortable. You know there are things that you need to do that you haven't been doing, and you have all of the excuses in the world, and you know it's time for a change. You know it's time to put those things behind you. So I'm here to give you a gentle / not so gentle reminder that it's time to get your life together. It's time I get my life together. I am aiming to get a lot done today, and I'm already like, it's already well into the afternoon, like later than I anticipated. But I am going to do my best to be the most productive I can be today and cross things off my list, because my comfort level right now is the bad habit of putting things on my to-do list but not checking everything off before the end of the day. You know why? Because I don't feel like it. I'll do mostly everything, and then I'll say, you know what, I'll just move this to tomorrow, and I'll just, and sometimes it's not even that I'm overwhelming myself with a lot. I just get lazy. After a while, I just get lazy. I'm just like, you know what, I've done a lot. Let me relax. Let me go for a walk. Let me watch a movie. Let me leave and go do something. That's my bad habit. That's me telling on myself. But on another note, I want to also bring something very important to your attention. It's from a TikTok that I saw, and I will do my best to find it and leave the link in the description. It was like the most amazing thing ever. This guy said that when we pray to God for something, He doesn't like, you can be on one hand and what you want is on the other hand. When you pray to God for something, He doesn't just takes you from left to right away, right? He doesn't just shoot you past like the whole process of attaining the thing or becoming the person that gets the thing. What He will do is basically say, this is the path, like a straight line in front of you, but there are like gaps in the line. And what He's going to do is put you through trials and tribulations or give you experiences, good or bad, that will expose your character, and they will help you fill in the gaps so that you can just eventually walk across and get what you want. I hope that makes sense. But so yeah, basically he won't just take you from A to Z right away. He'll help you fill in the gaps for the letters in the alphabet that you don't have, so then you can actually get the thing you want and you will appreciate it more and you'll be able to sustain it. So my question for you is, what are the gaps between you and what you want? And I'm pretty sure that your comfort level and your comfort zone has a lot to do with the things in the gaps that are missing. So let me give you an example of something you might be praying for, but God isn't giving it to you yet because He's trying to help you fill in the gaps on that path before you can have it. So let's just say you are praying for financial abundance, for example, but your gaps are, you have a scarcity mindset when it comes to money and you have poor financial literacy. You don't know how to manage it. You don't know what to do with it. So God is not going to drop a bunch of money in your lap just so you can mismanage it and lose it. And the fact that you have a scarcity mindset anyway might be preventing you from even attracting that kind of abundance in your life. So let's say you decide that a solution for that, for you to fill in the gap so you can like close the gaps and eventually get to the goal that you want along the way. Let's say you decide to read a book on money mindset and financial literacy to help solve your problems. However, every time you are supposed to be reading that book, you take a nap. Or every time you are supposed to be reading that book, that's when all of a sudden you decide to binge watch Netflix. You see what I'm saying? On its own, having a nice day to binge watch Netflix is fine. But when you're binge watching Netflix, when you are supposed to be doing things to improve your character, improve your life, and work on the things that you really want, that is where the issue comes in. Because if you never work on yourself and you try to fill those gaps, if you never address your comfort level and all of these things that's making you slack off, how exactly do you expect to get the things you want? Do you expect it to fall out of the sky? Help me understand. How do you expect to get the things that you want when every time you're supposed to be doing something to work on that, suddenly you need a nap? Really? That's not going to work. And that's why I'm making this episode, to give you the same reality check that I was given. Because I am guilty of this too. Maybe not with naps, but I'm telling y'all, this couch right here, I know what I'm supposed to do. And I know I've identified the things that deter me from doing these things, the things that distract me, like this couch. I cannot work on this couch. I will not get any work done on this couch. If I try to work on this couch, I have a good 10 minutes of productivity in me. That's it. I have a good 10 minutes before I turn on the TV and I start watching something, or before I take a nap because I have the AC on and I'm in my Snuggie and I just feel comfortable, and before I know it, I wake up like 2 hours later. I know what is hindering me. So I am working on filling those gaps by leaving my entire apartment completely to go work in the conference room or to go work at a coffee shop. Or if I don't want to, or if I can't leave, for example, let's say if I'm recording and I have some other stuff to do, I have a desk. I have a perfectly fine desk, but I don't use it. I use it sometimes, and when I sit at my desk, I am so productive, but I rarely sit at my desk. And the thing about the desk is I can sit at it and work and be productive, but it's right next to the couch. It's right next to the couch. And once I sit on that couch, that's it. You don't get any more productivity from me. So I can identify some of the things that I have to work on, and I'm a work in progress. I'm working on it. I am trying to only sit on this couch when I'm recording and after my work day is over so I can relax. That is the line that I am drawing in the sand for myself. My question to you is, what lines do you have to draw? What bad habits do you have that is essentially making you slack off and be lazy and be comfortable? How many naps do you need in a day? Taking a nap by itself, fine, cool. Taking a nap when you know you should be reading because you committed to read, what are you doing? Or some of us, we have, like, let's say there's two things that you know you have to do, but one of them you don't want to do more. You don't really want to do either one of them, but there's one you don't want to do more than the other. And the one could be, let's say, working out, for example, because you decided that you would be healthy and, you know, whatever, summer's coming, you want to work out. And the next thing is like, do laundry and fold your clothes. Some of us will say, you know what, I don't feel like working out, so let me do the laundry. Because you are going to justify it and say, you know what, well, I didn't work out, but at least I did the laundry. No. You know what you need to be doing. Stop telling yourself all these stories to make yourself feel better. You know what you need to be doing. It's slowing you down. Now, I have checked myself and my feelings are a little bit still hurt. I'm still healing. I'm still picking myself up from the sermon that I watched that hurt my spirit and called me out for being too comfortable and slacking off in areas where it's not even that serious. I just don't feel like doing stuff. You know, I'm going to continue to work on myself, and I'm encouraging you to do the same because, like I said, this whole show is about accountability. I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to hold you accountable. Don't even listen to my next episode if you don't plan on getting your life together, because this is not the podcast for you. This is not the podcast for you. I'm a nice person. But I believe that being a little tough here and there is necessary because some of you are just used to being coddled. And I spoke about that in my episode on not making any excuses. I know that triggered a lot of people, rightfully so, but this is just a little tough reminder that you can't keep taking all of these naps. Okay, you can't keep taking all of these naps. You can't keep doing all of these other things just to avoid doing what you know you should be doing, because at the end of the day, it's only holding you back. Like, how do you think you look trying to put up a fight and bring your case to yourself, to your conscience, essentially, when you say stuff like, oh, well, I didn't work out, but I did my laundry. Okay, but are you going to be summer ready? And that's not to body shame or anything, because I know the internet is sensitive, but you have your goal that you're working towards. Who do you think it's hurting when you make up these excuses and when you say, oh, well, I didn't do this, but I did that instead? Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. I am going to get my life together. I am going to pick my jaw up off the floor after that sermon, and I am going to commit to not working on this couch and leaving as much as I need to every day if I need to, so I can do what I have to do. I need you to make the same commitment to yourself, because that is the only way you will see progress. That is all I have to say this week. I will talk to you next Sunday.